The Marcos administration's persisting harassment against the Maisug peace rally threatens to cast a chilling effect and will backfire in suppressing the people's rights to free speech and peaceful assembly. For international lawyer Arnedo Valera, Filipinos will not succumb to fear. He further urged the public to denounce what he calls as authoritarian ruling of the current government for disregarding the Constitution. Marcos Jr.'s remarks on World Press Freedom Day were brushed off as a joke on free expression by many, including former presidential spokesperson Atty. Roque. For the human rights lawyer, Marcos' words contradict his actions towards SMNI. PBBM's words also drew flack from citizens, especially as the countries slipped to 2 places in the World Press Freedom Index this year. And the Philippine government is eyeing to revert to the old school calendar in 2025 following the recommendation of the Department of Education under the leadership of Vice President Sara Duterte. This comes amid the intense hot weather brought by El Niño, which has led to disruptions in classes. I am Franco Baranda. Newsline World starts now. Legal expert and TV host Atty. Roque criticized President Bongbong Marcos' recognition of press freedom. MJ Mondihar will give us the details.
President Bongbong Marcos recently acknowledged the heroism of journalists in celebrating World Press Freedom Day. In his message, the president recognized the bravery of journalists in producing unbiased reports. The president also commended the promotion of truth and transparency in the country. However, for Atty. Roque, who is also a TV host of SMNI, the president's words were nothing but a joke or excessive flattery. Roque stated that the chief executive's statement was far from the truth because SMNI was placed under indefinite suspension during his term. Roque questioned that if Marcos Jr. admires the media as the fourth estate, why did he allow the suspension and embarrassment of SMNI, the only network that helped him win during the elections?
Isa lang po reaksyon natin dyan. Charot.
According to Roque, a human rights lawyer, Filipinos won't be fooled anymore, and that SMNI will continue its mission to reveal the truth about what's happening in the Marcos Jr. administration.
Mga pinagsasabi mo ay napapasinungalingan po sa ginawa ninyo sa SMNI na inyong tanging kakampi ng eleksyon. Pinasara ninyo, pinatanggal niyo ang prangkisa. At least ang iyong pinsan na si Speaker at ang kanyang mga kaalyado sa Kamara de Representante.
Roque further stated that other TV networks would face the same fate as SMNI if they reported against the administration.
Charot, charot, charot ang sinasabi nyo sa malayang pamamahayag. Hay nako, hindi na po kami nakakukuha sa bola dahil alam namin, Exhibit A, SMNI.
Bola ba? Bola? Bola?
Hindi nga bola, charot.
Roque also foresaw that other TV networks would experience what happened to SMNI if they reported against the administration.
Well, alam niyo po, darating din lahat dyan. Kaya ang mga mamamahayag, kung hindi kayo maninindigan sa inyong karapatan, bakit pa kayo nandyan sa hanap buhay na yan? O lahat kayo, mag-that's entertainment na lang kung ang gusto ninyo ay prangkisa lamang, bagamat hindi nyo ginagampan ang inyong katungkulan na dapat itaguyod ang katotohanan, lalong-lalo na katotohanan ng mga kapalpakan at mga kabalastugan ng gobyerno. Dahil kaya nga tayo naririto para bantayan ng gobyerno.
For Gunmobile of Philippines, MJ Mondihar, SMNI News.
President Bongbong Marcos just left off the leaked documents from the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency or PDEA linking him to illegal drugs. When asked by the media to comment on the issue, Marcos Jr. simply brushed it off with a laugh and walked away. In April, PDEA Director General Moro Virgilio Lazo stated that there were no such documents about Marcos Jr. and Soriano's reported drug use circulating on social media. However, Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa, former chief of the Philippine National Police, believes that the leaked PDEA documents are not fabricated. De la Rosa has also pointed out the red flags he observed during his Senate committee's investigation into the said documents regarding Marcos. Among those who attended the Senate hearing was former PDEA agent Jonathan Morales, who claimed that he signed the pre-operations report. Morales insisted that the operation was genuine and that he filed the pre-op based on the statement of a confidential informant who implicated Marcos and actress Maricel Soriano as allegedly using a white powdery substance. It is worth noting that former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte previously stated that Marcos Jr. was involved in illegal drug use and was included in the PIDEA's narco list. The Filipino people criticized the statement of Marcos Jr. administration on World Press Freedom Day, highlighting that it is being hypocritical. Meanwhile, a former chief presidential legal counsel said it's time for the people to go out in the streets to express their grief towards this administration. Sara Santos files this report.
Press freedom ka nga, pero sinasarado mo yung network.
Several people reacted to the statement of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. on World Press Freedom Day, but the reactions were not positive as the public is obviously disappointed with Marcos Jr.'s words when he said his administration values press freedom in the country. The two social media posts of President Marcos Jr. and the Presidential Communications Office or PCO in relation to press freedom were questioned and criticized by netizens. How can the Marcos Jr. administration say this after what they did to SMNI? In fact, the chief executive is being challenged to bring back SMNI in the name of world press freedom.
Tama yan ha. Hindi lamang yung problema sa press freedom, yung pamamalakad nila sa pagbibigay ng katarungan. Kaya we have a situation where accused of crimes are being held by public perception of being guilty. Why? Because they are tried by publicity. Why? Because the DOJ, ang ginagawa po nila, gaya ng ginawa nila kay Pastor Apollo Kibuloy, diyan kay dating Congressman Arnie Tevez, yang kay dating Director General ng Bucor na si Bantag, hinatulan na po nila na guilty. Wala pang ang preliminary investigation. Siniraan na ng siniraan. O kaya tuloy, ayaw nilang lumantad. Yan ang problema dito sa ating bansa ngayon. Si Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr., maganda mga sinasabi niya. Ha? Press freedom. Maganda rin yung sinasabi niyang katarungan. Ang problema mo, yung mga nasa baba niyo, Mr. President, hindi kayo sinusunod Hindi pinatutupad ang mga patakaran na inilalatag nyo sa inyong administrasyon.
At the same time, the Philippines also fell by 2 places in the 2024 World Press Freedom Index by media watchdog Reporters Without Borders. The Philippines currently ranks 134th out of 180 countries, with media conditions continuing to fall below the standards of a free press, even without a government openly hostile to journalists. According to reports from the Center for Media Freedom and Responsibility, or CMFR, and the National Union of Journalists of the Philippines, or NUJP, there were more incidents of attacks and threats against journalists during the first 22 months of the Marcos Jr. administration compared to the same period under Duterte's term.
Alam po ninyo, kailangan talaga gayahin na natin yung mga lumalabas sa kalsada. Kailangan talaga iparamdam na sa administrasyon na hindi maganda ang ginagawa ng pangkalahatan ha. Kasi kung papakinggan mo si Presidente Marcos Jr., walang problema, maganda mga sinasabi niya Ha? Gaya nung sa ICC, walang jurisdiction. Kahit anong gawin nyo, hindi kami makikisama sa inyo. Pagdating sa West Philippine Sea, gagalit siya. Ayaw din niyang pumayag. Pagdating sa press freedom, ganda na mga sinasabi niya. Katarungan, ganun din. Pero, bakit to iba yata nakikita ng tao? Ba't iba ang ginagawa ng mga tao inyong ninombrahan? Kaya, umaalsa.
World Press Freedom Day was celebrated on the 3rd of May, and the PCO said it condemns all attacks on press freedom and calls for the protection of journalists and media workers worldwide. It can be noted that the operations of SMNI remain suspended until now, after the House of Representatives approved on third and final reading the revocation of its 25-year franchise. The measures taken by the lower house of Congress stemmed from the time SMNI anchors questioned the travel funds of House Speaker Martin Romualdez.
Ang pakiramdam namin, binubusalan kami. Sana huwag naman.
Ang nangyayari po ngayon sa SMNI, Yan po'y nakakabahala. Bawal ba magtanong ngayon sa demokrasya? Martial law na ba ngayon sa Pilipinas?
Yung pang-aabuso ng mga nasa kapangyarihan.
Bakit kayo natatakot sa SMNI?
For God and my beloved country, the Philippines, this is Sarah Santos, SMNI News.
An international lawyer warned that the Marcos administration attitude towards the Maisug peace rally brings a chilling effect, leading to Filipinos standing more resolutely against the administration's suppression of the people's right to peaceful assembly. Here's the report by Carlo de la Peña.
International lawyer attorney Ernesto Valera is calling on Filipinos to denounce the continuing suppression by the Marcos administration of the people's rights to freedom of speech and peaceful assembly. This comes after the recent harassment of the Maisug peace rally slated to take place in Dumaguete City on May 7th. To recall, the Maisug peace rally was previously disrupted, which was initially set to occur in Bustos, Bulacan last April. For Attorney Valera, the current administration's actions represent authoritarian and dictatorial rule.
Dapat ang buong sambayanan talagang ikondena itong ganitong sitwasyon na hindi ito tendencies ng isang demokratikong bansa for the people and by the people. Hindi. Authoritarian ruling ito. Dictatorial ruling ito. Dahil yung saligang batas natin ay binabaliwala. Lalong-lalo na kung ang mga tinutukoy na mga nagpro-protest ay nag-express ng legitimate dissent na pagtutol sa mga polisiya ng Marcos administration sa isang mapayapang paraan.
Valera reiterates that the right to freedom of speech and assembly is not a privilege granted by any authority, but a fundamental right of the peoples as stated in the Constitution. He is certain that the actions of the current administration will have a chilling effect.
Ang mamamayan ay titindig at hindi yan magpapadala sa takot. Bagkus ay lalong yan iikting at lalong matitipon ang tinig ng sambayanan, no? Kaya itong ginagawa nila ngayon, magkakaroon yan ng chilling effect at babaliktad yan dahil lalong dadami at tuloy-tuloy ang pagkilos laban sa Marcos administration.
The international lawyer stressed that continuously obstructing freedom of speech and assembly should not be tolerated as it reflects a dark democracy in the country.
Paggamit ng politikal na kapangyarihan ng local officials na may basbas ang Malacanang upang supilin ang lehitimong disensyo ng oposisyon ay talagang ito ay hindi po ito tatak ng isang lipunang demokratiko kundi isang tatak ng isang diktatorial na rehimen.
To recall, former President Duterte also warned that local governments refusing to allow rallies could face legal action. Reporting, this has been Carlo de la Peña, SMNI News.
Malacanang is in favor of DepEd's recommendation to revert to the former school calendar. According to the government, this would be beneficial for students, especially amid the severe impact of the intense heat brought by El Niño on classes in some schools across the Philippines. President Catarong reports.
Amidst the worsening heat wave brought by El Niño, many schools in various parts of the Philippines have resorted to online classes to safeguard the health of students and teachers. In relation to this, the Department of Education conducted consultations with various stakeholders regarding the proposed return to the previous school calendar, where classes would run from mid-June to the end of March, and with April and May designated as school holidays, coinciding with the peak of the hot weather. DepEd Assistant Secretary Francis Cesar Bringas previously announced their submission of a letter to the Office of the President recommending the implementation of a shorter school year next year to expedite the return to the old school calendar or the June-March academic calendar. During an ambush interview on Monday at an event in Pasay City, President Bongbong Marcos Jr. said he hopes to have the old school year calendar back by next year and that he has requested Vice President and Education Secretary Sara Duterte to provide a concrete plan. DepEd, under the leadership of VP Sara, had already announced plans for a gradual return to the pre-pandemic school year, which was altered in 2020 due to the imposed lockdown brought by COVID-19.
Number ay resulta ng mga konsultasyon na natin. Collective decision na ito based on our consultations, yung reversion ng ating school calendar. At pangalawa, hindi natin pwede i-compromise ang pahinga ng ating mga teachers and ng ating mga learners dahil hindi natin pwede idire-diretso ang mga klase dahil kailangan ng pahinga, hindi lang ng teacher, kundi ng mga mag-aaral.
Vice President Sara Duterte emphasized that this move resulted from consultations with students. In February, DepEd issued a series of adjustments, including the scheduled conclusion of school year 2023 to 2024 on May 31. This was based on the Department Order 3 series of 2024, which also aimed to implement a school break from June 1 to July 26, 2024. The order also outlined the subsequent school year scheduled from July 29, 2024 to May 16, 2025.
Yun na ang nalatag doon sa mga consultations natin na sa susunod na taon matatapos tayo mid-May at sa susunod na taon matatapos tayo ng April and then balik na tayo sa March.
Some parents believe that the old school calendar should be reinstated due to the adverse effects of intense heat on their children.
Bilang isang magulang, mas okay ako dun sa dating kagisan ng mga magulang na sa dating June to March ang graduation. Starting to ang pasok ng mga bata is June talaga enrollment. Matapos main man yung pasok ng mga bata is March. Ang nakakaawa yung malayo. Gaya na magko-commute sila or ihatid ng mga magulang. Ang magulang na kainitan din, lalo pang may mga sa puso.
Approve po ako dyan. Kasi po, syempre, di ba dapat dati-ratis, ang bakasyon is April hanggang May. Kasi mahirap yung ganito yung summer, ang init-init, tas nasa school pabalik-balik.
Several senators have expressed support for the proposal to revert to the old academic calendar. Senator Ramon Bong Revilla Jr. expressed his support for the plea of students, parents, teachers, and other school personnel to revert the old calendar from June to March. Revilla also emphasized the necessity to avoid having school days during hot months like April and May, which pose health risks to children. Senator Bongo, as chairman of the Senate Committee on Health, also voiced his support for DepEd's initiative, emphasizing the importance of ensuring the health and well-being of students.
Ako po ay masaya. Gradually, ibabalik na po ng DepEd ang school calendar sa dating original school calendar na nakagawian natin. Hindi ko nga maintindihan kung bakit ito napunta sa ibang buwan ang bakasyon ng mga bata na tama naman po sana yon yung original, no? Dahil dapat po ay naayon po ito sa panahon. Summer, Abril, Mayo, mainit. Yun yung panahon na kailangan mo nating magpahinga.
For God and for my beloved Philippines, this has been Creslin Catarong, SMNI News.
When we come back, Thailand's tourist hotspot Chiang Mai ranks 4th for worst air pollution in the entire world. Chiang Mai now has airborne pollutants said to be 20 times higher than the standard of the World Health Organization and has been frequently blanketed by smog. And Japan is preparing for three-way talks with South Korea and China this month, the first such meeting since 2019. Newsline World will be back after the break. The brutal heat wave boiling parts of Asia has killed dozens of people in Thailand. Chatmongkong Pisamay Goson reports.
8 more people died from Thailand's extreme heat in the past 2 weeks.
Thailand's health department said most deaths occurred in northeast Thailand, A total of 38 people have died from heat stroke since the start of 2024. Most of the fatalities were laborers working outdoors, the elderly, heavy drinkers, and people with underlying conditions. The Health Ministry asked the public to avoid long exposure to direct sunlight and avoid drinking alcohol, while those in provinces mostly affected by the heat wave were advised to wear light clothes and drink lots of water. Large parts of South and Southeast Asia have endured weeks-long heat waves, which experts blamed on climate change.
The situation in Thailand is expected to improve this month due to the onset of the rainy season. Reporting from Thailand, I'm Shatmongkom Samay Goson, your Global Citizens correspondent for SM9 News Channel.
The foreign ministers of the three largest economies in East Asia prepare the groundwork for a trilateral summit in South Korea. Let's hear the report from Shiloh Lee.
South Korea, Japan, and China are working in a plan to hold a trilateral summit by the end of the month. Final arrangements are being made to hold a trilateral summit on May 26th and 27th, according to South Korea's foreign ministry. The meeting will bring together South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol, Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, and Chinese Premier Li Qiang. The three foreign ministers will focus on 6 areas, including people-to-people exchanges, economy and trade, public health, and peace and security, among other things. An official announcement for the conference is expected in few days. The current three-way summit framework is being chaired by South Korea. Negotiations to revive the summit have been discussed by the three countries since last year. The upcoming meeting raised hopes of easing the growing geopolitical rift and helping ensure stability in the Asia-Pacific. The three Asian countries held their first summit in 2019 but postponed the annual meeting in 2019 due to the COVID-19 pandemic and strings of political differences. Reporting from South Korea, this is Shiloh Lee, your Global Citizen correspondent for God in our beloved country, the Philippines.
In Brazil, rescuers are still scrambling to search for more survivors as floods in Rio Grande do Sul state have killed dozens of people over the week. Tens of thousands have been displaced after the record-breaking flood swept across the state, prompting President Lula da Silva to call for federal aid. Natalia Prado with the details.
Brazil's Rio Grande do Sul state is submerged in flood water, which killed dozens of lives over the last 7 days. In the capital city of Porto Alegre, the water level of Goiaba Lake has surged to 5.29 meters, as reported by the Department of Environment and Infrastructure and the National Water Agency. Tragically, the death toll due to the flood increased to 78 and 104 remain missing. According to local authorities, over 800,000 residents were displaced from their homes. This is the first time in history of Porto Alegre to have witnessed such devastating floods and rising water levels in Goiaba Lake. The previous mark was 4.76 meters, which occurred in 1941. The City Hall issued an alert for the catastrophic floods in the capital. President Lula visited Rio Grande do Sul for a second time on Sunday and called for federal aid for the state. He also urged lawmakers to release earmarks for the state, which has been hit by strong storms for days. Many residents joined to help rescue those stranded in their homes due to the intense flood. In a video, we can see civilians joining together to make a human rope in a way to rescue others. Meanwhile, the Brazilian government raised concerns about the persistent rainfall and the potential for further precipitation this week. Reporting, this has been Natalia Prado, your Global Citizen correspondent for SM9 News.
A city in Thailand once again entered the list of the world's most polluted cities. Anissa de Guzman will tell us more.
The week has barely started, but Chiang Mai is already making international headlines as the 4th most polluted city in the world. At least 11 provinces were categorized under the red code, which means the particulate matter was ranked at seriously harmful levels, including Chiang Mai. Fine particles in the air are so small that they can travel deeply into the respiratory tract and reach the lungs, causing short-term health effects such as eye, nose, throat, and lung irritation, coughing, sneezing, runny nose, and shortness of breath, according to the New York State's Department of Health. The news came a few days after Bangkok and Chiang Mai joined the list of the top 10 most polluted cities worldwide. Thai Prime Minister Srettha Thavisin visited Chiang Mai in March to check the measures enforced by local officials to tackle air pollution. The prime mover warned to take strict government measures if the problem persists. Forest fires and the burning of agricultural waste are among the major contributors to choking pollution in the country. Thailand's cabinet endorsed the Clean Air Act aimed at improving air quality in the country in January. Reporting from Thailand, I'm Anissa de Guzman, your global citizen correspondent for God and our beloved country, the Philippines.
In United Kingdom, a Filipino community recently wrapped up its third season of Lashera Sports, marking a triumphant celebration of athleticism and sportsmanship. Rose Ann Samyon for the story.
Milton Keynes has just wrapped up its third season of Lashera Sports with resounding success. The Milton Keynes One-Day Tournament 2024, organized by Lashera's Productions, saw 6 formidable teams including MK Elite, Northampton, Bicester, Stevenage, Luton's Team Lakay, and Men of Might, competing under FIBA rules in a single round-robin format. According to Russell, the event organizer, the tournament aimed to promote health and camaraderie among the Filipino community in Milton Keynes and surrounding areas. Russell expressed satisfaction with the smooth execution of the tournament's third season and congratulated both the champions and all participants and supporters.
Congratulations sa mga sumali sa Team Lakay, Bicester, sa Stevenage, MK Elite, at Men of Might. So thank you very much and congratulations sa MK Elite. They're really good players even though they're only 5. Salamat sa mga nagsuporta, sa aming table officials, sa referee, sa mga taong nanood at sa Ocho Busog na nag-cater sa taas. Sa SMNI as well, thank you. Ang advocacy po namin, of course, sports, good health at saka camaraderie. Tao dito laging busy sa kanilang trabaho ngayon. Nakakakita sila ng magagandang basketball tournament. Ino-organize namin ng maayos para maiba-iba naman.
Following intense matches, MK Elite emerged as champions, showcasing their dominance, with Northampton and Bicester securing the first and second runner-up positions, respectively. Craig Joshua Lacheras was awarded the tournament's MVP title for his outstanding performance.
The event was really fun, very vibrant, very competitive. It was nice to see all the people come together, so we can play basketball. And it was really fun, a good day, really nice day, good memories to have.
The Bicester team, primarily composed of youths, expressed enjoyment of the tournament but hoped for a longer event duration in the future.
Maganda po yung liga pero mabilis lang. So dapat madaming quarters. It gathers loads of Filipino from different places.
The mythical team featured standout players from various teams, including Ronald Divino and Mike Sullivan from Northampton, along with Mark Obras, Drew de Guzman, and CJ Lacheras from MK Elite and Gab Formelosa. Reporting from United Kingdom, I'm Rose Ann Samyon, your global citizen correspondent for God and our beloved country, the Philippines.
And before we end, may be inspired with the words of the sun. Those that know God know that love is God. And that's all for this edition. For more news updates, you may visit smninewschannel.com or follow us on our official social media accounts on Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. For God and my beloved country, the Philippines, I am Franco Baranda, and this is Newsline World.
is SMNI News Channel. Truth that matters.
Subscribe to SMNI News Channel and turn on the notification bell to keep you up to date. Also visit our official social media accounts and join our community on Viber and Telegram.